Today we are diving into a rather unique maritime situation that has caught the attention of many travelers. The Cruise Olympia Ferry has generated quite a bit of confusion in the cruising community, and frankly, it is not hard to see why. This vessel represents something of a mystery in the traditional cruise ship world, as it appears to be more of a ferry service than what most people would consider a classic cruise experience. The reality is that when you search for the Cruise Olympia Ferry in mainstream cruise databases, you will come up empty-handed. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does mean we need to adjust our expectations accordingly. What we are looking at here is likely a ferry service that operates under the Olympia name, possibly in the Greek islands region where such services are common and essential for island hopping. Ferry services like this one serve a completely different purpose than traditional cruise ships. While cruise ships are floating resorts designed for leisure and entertainment, ferries are primarily transportation vessels that get you from point A to point B, often with some basic amenities thrown in for passenger comfort during the journey. The accommodation situation on the Cruise Olympia Ferry is where things get interesting, though not necessarily in the way cruise enthusiasts might hope. Unlike traditional cruise ships that offer everything from interior staterooms to lavish suites with private balconies, ferry accommodations are typically much more basic and functional. Most ferries of this type offer simple seating arrangements in various classes, similar to what you might find on an airplane or train. If overnight accommodations are available, they usually consist of basic cabins with bunk beds or simple twin beds. Do not expect the smart technology, interactive televisions, or luxury amenities that have become standard on modern cruise ships. The focus here is purely on providing a place to rest during longer journeys, not on creating a luxurious vacation experience. Some ferries do offer slightly upgraded cabin categories, which might include private bathrooms and slightly more space, but these are still a far cry from the ocean view staterooms or balcony suites that cruise passengers typically enjoy. The views, while potentially scenic depending on the route, are not the primary selling point of the accommodation. When it comes to dining options, ferry services like the Cruise Olympia typically offer a much more limited selection compared to traditional cruise ships. Instead of multiple specialty restaurants, elegant dining rooms, and 24-hour room service, you are more likely to find a cafeteria-style restaurant or snack bar. The food is usually designed to be quick, affordable, and filling rather than gourmet or innovative. Most ferries will have a main dining area that serves basic meals throughout the day. Think along the lines of sandwiches, salads, pasta dishes, and perhaps some local specialties depending on the region of operation. If this is indeed a Greek ferry service, you might find some traditional Mediterranean options, but do not expect the variety or quality of a cruise ship buffet. The bar offerings are typically limited to basic alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. You will not find craft cocktail programs, wine pairings, or specialty coffee services that have become popular on cruise ships. The focus is on providing refreshment rather than creating a memorable culinary experience. Pool facilities and sun deck areas represent another significant departure from traditional cruise ship amenities. Most ferries do not have swimming pools at all, as they are designed for shorter journeys and practical transportation rather than leisure activities. If there are any outdoor deck areas, they are usually basic spaces where passengers can get fresh air and enjoy the scenery during the journey. Sun decks on ferries, when available, are typically simple open areas with basic seating. Do not expect pool bars, infinity pools, or elaborate water features. The outdoor spaces are functional rather than luxurious, designed to give passengers a break from indoor seating areas during longer crossings. Some larger ferries might have small whirlpools or hot tubs, but this would be considered a premium amenity rather than a standard feature. Water slides and splash parks are virtually unheard of on ferry services, as these vessels simply do not have the space or infrastructure to support such elaborate recreational facilities. The onboard activities situation on ferry services like the Cruise Olympia is perhaps the most significant difference from traditional cruise ships. While modern cruise ships feature everything from rock climbing walls to ice skating rinks, ferries typically offer very limited recreational options. The focus is on transportation efficiency rather than entertainment value. Most ferries will have basic lounge areas where passengers can relax, read, or socialize during the journey. Some might offer simple games or television viewing areas, but elaborate entertainment programs are not part of the ferry experience. There are no Broadway-style shows, no comedy clubs, and no elaborate production performances. If you are looking for fitness facilities, you will likely be disappointed. Most ferries do not have gyms or fitness centers, as the journey times typically do not justify such amenities. The physical activity you will get is mostly limited to walking around the deck areas or exploring the limited indoor spaces. Spa and wellness facilities are essentially non-existent on most ferry services. While luxury cruise ships compete to offer the most elaborate spa experiences with everything from thermal suites to acupuncture treatments, ferries focus on basic passenger needs. You will not find massage therapists, wellness programs, or elaborate spa facilities. The closest thing to wellness amenities you might find would be basic medical facilities for emergencies, which are required by maritime safety regulations. Some ferries might have small shops where you can purchase basic personal care items, but this is purely functional rather than luxurious. If you are planning to use this service for relaxation or pampering, you will need to adjust your expectations significantly. The focus is on getting you to your destination safely and efficiently, not on providing a rejuvenating spa experience. Family facilities and kids programs are typically minimal on ferry services. Unlike cruise ships that feature elaborate kids clubs with age-appropriate activities and supervised programs, ferries usually offer basic family seating areas and perhaps some simple entertainment options like television or basic games. Teen facilities are usually non-existent, as ferry journeys are typically shorter and focused on transportation rather than extended vacation experiences. Families traveling on ferries typically need to bring their own entertainment and activities to keep children occupied during the journey. Some ferries might have small play areas or family lounges, but these are basic spaces rather than the elaborate themed environments found on cruise ships. The focus is on providing a safe and comfortable environment for families traveling together, not on creating an entertainment destination. The ports of call and shore excursion situation is where ferry services actually offer some advantages over traditional cruise ships. Ferry services like the Cruise Olympia typically operate on routes that connect multiple destinations, allowing passengers to explore different locations at their own pace rather than being tied to a cruise ship schedule. If this is indeed a Greek island ferry service, passengers might have the opportunity to visit multiple islands and spend as much time as they want at each destination. This flexibility can be a significant advantage for travelers who want to explore destinations thoroughly rather than having just a few hours at each port. However, organized shore excursions are typically not part of the ferry service offering. Passengers are responsible for planning their own activities and transportation once they reach their destinations. This can be both liberating and challenging, depending on your travel style and experience level. Looking at this service objectively, the Cruise Olympia Ferry represents a fundamentally different type of maritime travel experience. The strengths lie in its practical transportation value and the flexibility it offers for independent travel. If you are looking for an affordable way to travel between destinations while enjoying some basic amenities, this type of service can be quite valuable. However, if you are expecting a traditional cruise ship experience with elaborate entertainment, dining, and accommodation options, you will likely be disappointed. The service appears to be designed for practical transportation rather than luxury vacation experiences. The main areas for improvement would be in clarifying the marketing and positioning of the service. The confusion around whether this is a ferry or cruise ship suggests that clearer communication about what passengers can expect would be beneficial. What makes this service stand out is its focus on practical, affordable transportation rather than luxury amenities. In a world where cruise ships are becoming increasingly elaborate and expensive, there is definitely a market for simpler, more affordable maritime transportation options. The flexibility to travel at your own pace and explore destinations independently is a significant selling point for adventurous travelers who prefer to create their own itineraries rather than following structured cruise programs. This service likely does not offer traditional conference facilities or meeting rooms, as the focus is on transportation rather than business travel or events. Any meeting spaces would be basic and functional rather than elaborate or well-equipped for business presentations. Guest experiences on ferry services tend to focus on the journey itself and the destinations rather than onboard amenities. Passengers often appreciate the authentic, no-frills approach to travel and the opportunity to meet fellow travelers in a more casual, less structured environment than what you find on traditional cruise ships. The key to enjoying this type of service is setting appropriate expectations and viewing it as transportation with some basic amenities rather than a floating resort experience. For checking booking availability and prices at your desired dates, you can use the link in description. I hope this video was helpful. Give it thumbs up. Subscribe for more travel-related content. If you are not ready to book this cruise, you can watch our best cruises playlist and choose the best one for you. Thanks for watching.